Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, as you already knew, I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. But of course, you already knew that. And with the football season approaching, it's on the horizon, it's only right that we preview my Pittsburgh Steelers 2023 regular season. How do I think that we're going to do? Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. All right, this isn't my own bias, this isn't my own delusion, but truly I feel as if this Pittsburgh Steelers team is primed to go on a championship run. Not only did they close out the season, the second half, 7-2, and built all kinds of momentum. When that defense is healthy and firing on all cylinders, they are amongst, if not, the best defense in the league. Offensively, we just got to figure out what the hell we can do in the first three quarters, because the fourth quarter, I think we're a very good football team. The first three quarters, we'll figure it out. Kenny Pickett looked all right in the preseason game, but of course, that's just preseason. One way or another, I expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to go out there and take care of business. And truly, dare I say it, I believe they're going to win the division and shock everybody in the AFC. Because let me tell you something right now. The past few years, Pittsburgh has constantly flew underneath the radar. All right. Of course, the days of the Troy Polomalus, the James Harrisons, the Ben Roethlisbergers, Antonio Browns, Le'Veon Bells, that squad constantly was amongst the top three teams in the AFC. But this time around, as we already know, there are three teams that have ran the AFC the past few years. That is the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, and the Cincinnati Bengals. So with that being the case, I expect Pittsburgh to now work their way back into that top three once more. So I am expecting them to go out there and take care of business. So let's go down the list from week 1 to week 18. All right, and I'll also let you know which games in particular I might just mess around and attend. So let's get this started. Week 1, to kick off the NFL season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are hosting the San Francisco 49ers. And let me tell you something right now. I am confident that Pittsburgh will take care of business. Now, don't get me wrong. San Francisco's defense is nothing to scoff at. They are legit. They have the reigning, defending, undisputed defensive player of the year. All right. However, on offense, they got to figure out what the hell they doing at quarterback. All right. Because Brock Purdy, despite how impressive that he looked to close out the season, he has that elbow problem that cost him availability in that NFC Championship game. And from what I've seen, he's been a pick throwing machine thus far in practice. Then, of course, you have the Trey Lance sort of situation. They're trying to figure out what it is that they want to do at quarterback. So one way or another, with that Pittsburgh Steelers defense being as opportunistic as they are, I expect to see a little bit of Minka magic. Of course, I expect to see TJ Watt go to business. But one way or another, if we can contain Deebo Samuel, slow down George McGriddle Kittle, I think our defense can go out there and make plays. Now, I am concerned offensively if we'll be able to vertically throw the football down the field, because, of course, San Francisco can take the football away with the best of them, just like Pittsburgh can. However, I think Pittsburgh will have the slight edge because given the injuries, or I should say the uncertainty at quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, I'm leaning more towards my Pittsburgh Steelers starting out the season 1-0. But I do expect this game to be incredibly close. It can go either way. All right, I'm not saying they're going to go out there and dominate, the San Francisco 49ers, but one way or another, because there's a question mark at that quarterback position, I am going to lean with my Pittsburgh Steelers. But there's a true test to see how that offensive line is going to go and, perform. So I would hope that they go out there, take care of business, and set the tone for what this season is going to look like. Then, week 2, who is heading over to Pittsburgh? None other than the Cleveland Browns with Massage purchasing Poppy and Deshaun Watson. This game, I might just mess around and go to. All right, because if I'm not mistaken, this fixing to be on a Monday night. So with that being the case, why not? I'll mess around and pop up. And let me tell you something right now. Pittsburgh got to go out there and take care of business. We have owned the Browns this half of the millennium. Okay, and I expect that to go out there and continue. Now, Cleveland looks all right on paper, but one way or another, I still roll with my Pittsburgh Steelers. I think there's going to be a situation where Najee Harris has himself a game and runs for all kinds of yards. I expect Kenny Pickett to also do the same. And defensively, I would like to see us take advantage and get after Deshaun Watson. Can we have 7 sacks? I would like to see the return of Blitzburg. We dominated in the sack category for half a decade, and then TJ Watt got hurt, and we didn't, reclaim our title amongst the top of the sack leaders in the league. So I would like to see that happen once more, and it's going to begin in the game against the Browns. So I expect us to start out the season 2-0. Then we head over to Las Vegas and we take over against the Las Vegas Raiders. Let me tell you something right now. New quarterback situation they got over there. Porn star Jimmy G is going to be at the helm. All right. This Raiders team, last year it came down to the wire. We had to win and do it for Franco. This year I expect us to take care of business once more. Now this could be a trap game. All right, because of course this type of situation, I expect all 3 games is going to go down to the wire. I think we could win those 50-50 games, similar to how we closed out the season, winning those 50-50 games. So I think there's going to be somewhat similar to that 2020 season where we started out 11-0. I don't think that's going to be our case this year, but I think we're going to win those 50-50 games early on, and we're going to take care of Las Vegas, and we're going to start the season 3-0. Now, here's a trap game. We're going to Houston. There's no reason why Pittsburgh should lose to Houston. No reason whatsoever. Do I believe that we'll beat Houston? Yes. Do I think it's going to be a much tougher game than it has to be? Absolutely. Why? Because for whatever reason, Mike Tomlin's squad happens to play down to the competition. I'm not sure why that is. Now, granted, it's any given Sunday. It's 53 men on that field who are professionally paid to go out there and take care of business. So I expect them to come out there prepared to hit us in the mouth. But let me tell you something right now. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a situation where we trail and going into the 4th quarter, and then it takes some sort of Kenny Magic or Najee Magic or George Pickens or Deontay Johnson or Fryer move. Somebody's going to have to make a play on offense for us to go out there and win that game. But I do believe we will start 4-0 and take care of business against Houston. And now things are going to start to get interesting because the past couple of years we've split with the Baltimore Ravens, and for whatever reason we beat Baltimore in their crib at M&T Bank. We happen to lose when we're playing at what used to be Heinz Field. For whatever, is it Oshawa? I can't pronounce it. Whatever the case is, because I haven't heard it enough. I always consider it Heinz Field. But one way or another, I think this is where we take our first L of the season. And this will be one of the few games in which Lamar Jackson gets his W over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it's only Kansas City and Pittsburgh who has a positive, record against Lamar Jackson. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. What other squad has more wins over Lamar than he has over them? Of course, if they only played one time, then that's an exception to the rule. But if you played multiple times, let it be known in the comment section. Ravens fans and Lamar Jackson, aficionados, let it be known. But I think this will be our first L of the season. I think the Ravens are going to walk in and Justin Tuck is going to win it off his foot, or you'll see like a Mark Andrews game-winning touchdown sort of situation. But I think it's going to go down to the wire. It'll probably either be tied up or Pittsburgh will have a slight lead, and they're going to Baltimore is going to end up winning on that final drive, unfortunately for my Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think we'll be 4-1 at that point. Then we take over and go out to Los Angeles to take on the very shaky Los Angeles Rams. I think we get back on track because the Rams got to figure out what the hell they got going on. All right, they risked it all to win that Super Bowl trophy, and indeed they did. But last year, it was all over the place. Now, granted, injury did play a role, but they completely played worse than what they're capable of. So I'm very curious what that squad is going to look like, but I feel confident taking on the Los Angeles Rams. A couple years ago, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but one way or another, I'm confident taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I think we win that game and move on to 5-1. Then we host the Jacksonville Jaguars, a squad that has had our number in the past. But this is a team that's on the come up. Sunshine Trevor Lawrence closed out last season very, very well. And I actually predict that this season they'll also be impressive as well. I think they're going to walk into Pittsburgh and take down the Pittsburgh Steelers. In fact, I believe they should be probably leading their division at this particular point. So I anticipate that we'll take that L against Jacksonville as well. Then moving forward, it's good. We're going to host Tennessee. Tennessee's very shaky. Last year, they were not as good as they were in the past. So I expect us to take care of business against Tennessee, and we'll move on to, I think, 6-2 at that particular point. So we will have made it to midway through the season doing pretty well. Oh, yeah. So it's a complete polar opposite from last year, because if I'm not mistaken, we went into the bye, what were we, 2-5, 2-6? It was brutal, all right? But this time around, we've got to flip the script. We host the Green Bay Aaron Rodgers-less Packers, led by Jordan Love. Now, granted, I feel confident here that Pittsburgh should be able to take care of business and move on to 7-2. But for whatever reason, I'm feeling trap game here. I think we might mess around and take an L. right? So that would drop us down to 6-3. We move on to the following week. We take on the Browns in Cleveland. I think this game is actually going to be much closer than the earlier game of the season. I think it goes down to the wire, but we will complete the sweep and move on to 7-3. I think we take care of business. We sweep the Browns this season, and we pretty much take care of, Cleveland like we have every single year. Then we see Cincinnati for the very first time this season. Now, granted, Joe Burrow will be back, God willing, from the injury and things of that nature, so I expect them to be out there, barring injury, them at full force. It's gonna be quite the goddamn battle, right? Coming in at 7-3, I would assume at that particular point, they might have a similar record, if not better, or slightly worse. It's gonna be a heavy-hitting ordeal and affair. However, I think we're not gonna win this one. Right, I think we're going to lose this one. We're going to have a little bit of a losing streak. We're going to lose 2 in a row because that just so happens to happen in our Mike Tomlin, seasons. So we're going to drop down to 7-4. And I think at this point in the season, we'll go from number 1 in the division to either, we'll be number 2 because this will mess around and be the tie break for the time being before we see, Baltimore and Cincinnati later down the road. But we should be sitting here at 7-4. We take on the Cardinals. They come to Pittsburgh. We get back on track and take care of Gamer Kyler and those Arizona Cardinals. Then we got to host the Patriots. Let me tell you something right now. We got to beat the goddamn Patriots. All right, last year we were able to beat Tom Brady, but he was playing in Tampa, right? For whatever reason, we still lost to the Patriots. Brady not even over there. It was Mac Daddy Jones and company, and we lost to the Patriots. We cannot lose to the Patriots again. All right, I need us to move on to 8-4, take care of business, take down the Patriots. I am pleading with you. If we lose 3 in a row and the Patriots are the 3rd game we lose in a row, we're going to have some problems, right? But I'm going to predict that Pittsburgh going to take care of business. We're going to take down the doggone Patriots. Then we travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. There's a trap game right here. This is a complete trap game right here. Rookie quarterback will be starting. If I'm not mistaken, it would be Richardson, but depending on how the season progresses, usually organizations get cold feet if a quarterback who happens to be a rookie is struggling throughout their rookie season. So maybe they might pull the plug, and it's a brother, so you already know how they're moving like that, but that's a different conversation. One way or another, I think we take care of business. We start a little bit of a streak once more, and then we move on to 9-4. Then we see Cincinnati again. Let me tell you something right now. We split. They will not sweep us, okay? I believe that we're both going to win our home games. Now, if it just so happens to be the games on the road like it was last year, then that would be interesting. But I believe we get Cincinnati back to around, I believe this game will be at Christmas. It'll be the couple of days before Christmas. We take care of business. We have ourselves a nice Christmas gift, and we move on to 10-4. And then we have the or I should say 11-4, I think, at that particular point. Then we have the Seattle Seahawks. I think we win that game, and then ultimately with Baltimore, we close out strong. And we finish the season 13-4, or some flex games that are there at 12-5. I think the only games that we mess around and lose this year should be when we play the Ravens the very first time. Jacksonville will probably get us. I think we got a trap game with the Green Bay because we're always due a trap game. Cincinnati gets us as well. And then ultimately, that should truly be it. I think if there's one other team that may possibly, go and get us of everybody else who's there, maybe the 49ers to open up the season. I feel confident that we'll start the season right. But worst case scenario, it's 11 wins for us. Worst case scenario, if we don't win at least 11 games, I think we're playing games with what kind of organization we want to be for this upcoming season. All right. There's no reason. We have a favorable schedule, granted. Like I said before, it's any given Sunday. It's 50, 3 individuals on the roster. Everybody's a paid professional. You're very good at your job, so I would not be surprised if a squad goes out there and performs. However, this particular year, I think we are primed to shock the world, be that top 3 in the AFC, and goddamn it, I will say it. I believe we can mess around and go all the way, barring injury. We all play our best, version of football. I think we can get anybody. All right. Granted, Kansas City has dominated over the course of the past half decade, but they can be beat. They're not this super juggernaut that can't be dealt with, blowing everybody out. All right, Buffalo, they've had our number for quite some time. We don't see them during the regular season. We might mess around and see them during the postseason. We got to make sure we're ready. And if we happen to see them, I would hope that we're seething, we're foaming at the mouth to go and get revenge, because they've kicked our ass for probably the last, 3-4 years? When was the last time we beat Buffalo? When we had Le'Veon Bell in the snow? All right, Cincinnati, we got to see them twice. Baltimore, we got to see them twice. There's a couple of upcoming teams. I mentioned Jacksonville. Miami's another squad. We might mess around and make it to the postseason. We'll see them. One way or another, I'm confident this year can truly be our year. I don't think there's a Steeler fan who's sitting there feeling delusional, completely thinking, man, I don't think we got what it takes. Truly, this feels like 2005. All right, this feels like 2008. We're low profile. We're under the radar right now, but we can make a huge splash by way of dominating on the field. We need to play that smash mouth football. We need Najee Harris to get us 1,200 yards. All right, we need Deontay Johnson to find the end zone. No dropped crucial passes. George Pickens, NFL young boy, keep going out there making those dynamic catches. Let's get Pat Freiermuth involved early in the game rather than waiting until a desperation third or fourth down late in the fourth quarter and all of a sudden we remember that we got this brother on the field. Let's make sure our offensive line is a cohesive unit and we're protecting our quarterback. Defensively, let's keep making those splash plays. Let's keep having those Minka Magics. Let's have TJ Watt go out there and get the sack record again because they hold him a couple of years ago. Cam Hayward continued to showcase why you are the second best defensive tackle in the league. They constantly disrespecting you. I need our linebackers to go out there and perform as well. But one way or another, and our cornerbacks, let's make some plays. Joey Porter Jr., do what your father done did, right? Make yourself a Steeler legend, and it starts with your rookie season. One way or another, I believe Pittsburgh should take care of business. I think we're going to be between the 13-4, shock the entire league, or 12-5 range. Worst case scenario, 11-6. I'm confident this squad can go out there and win a great deal of games. One way or another, it's Pittsburgh heading to the Super Bowl and lifting up Lombardi number 7, and I would hope that where's the Super Bowl this year? I'm not sure. I can't recall. One way or another, Pittsburgh mess around and make it to the Super Bowl. I don't care what the price is. I'm going to the goddamn Super Bowl. Ain't no way I ain't going to be there. And I might just mess around and live stream while I'm there. Of course, I can't put the footage on the game. We're not going to talk about that and get ahead of ourselves. One way or another. All right. Pittsburgh going all the goddamn way. Everybody get your hands up in here. Steelers on 3, win on 6. 1, 2, 3, Steelers. 4, 5, 6, win. Let's go, baby. Let's get a great 2023 season. I'm confident. I believe in you. Get the job done.